So we're here this eclipse season, the final eclipse of maybe the most intense period of the astrology of 2024, a peak of eclipse intensity right here on 8 April. We're going to have this solar eclipse right in Aries. And so this is going to be a breakdown video of that solar eclipse. I mean, the first thing to note, just 101 astrology, you put the chart up, you put the eclipse, the luminaries in the chart. But when you look at this chart, it's striking. You've got 4 planets in Aries, 4 of the 7 traditional. You have the sun, you have Venus, you have Mercury and the moon. There's this conglomeration in the sign of Aries. And so heavily accentuated is Mars in Pisces and this Aries theme. And so one of the things about Aries that I think is important to understand is that the sun has more rulership percentage, you might say, over Aries than Mars does. It's like Libra, because with both Libra and Aries, you have an exaltation lord. In this case is the sun over Aries, or over Libra it's Saturn, but also triplicity. Saturn and the sun rule those respective signs. And so really the sun is the true ruler of Aries in a certain way. And so all of these planets are relying on and depending on their day triplicity lord and their exaltation lord, which is being eclipsed. And so because this eclipse is in the sign of Aries with these 4 planets, we have an extra dose of eclipse blockage, of eclipse faded inversion and intensity. I mean, just think about what an eclipse is, particularly a solar eclipse. You look up and then that sun is blocked. So there's a blocked solar energetic as a primary theme for this moment. And we have to consider that. Think about your life. What is the sun? It's the mind, it's the awareness, it's the attention, it's the self, it's that light of selfhood, that shines even from the heart or the mind. And to have that blocked off during a moment like this, it's good to just know that that symbolism is baked here into this moment, because if you're feeling intense, strange, I mean, I'm looking around everywhere where I am, I'm seeing people really having things being triggered right now in terms of the sense of selfhood, maybe not feeling quite as robust, or there being tense blockages. Now, the sun can also be things like a dad or a head of state. Those things might be under extra pressure right now in your life. We can look in our collective energy. Are there heads of states under pressure? Of course, we can say that there's a visibility right over America, right through Texas. And so we wonder about those solar figures in America or in Texas. The governor, the president, the presidential candidates, might they be blocked out here somehow during this eclipse moment? It's the idea that the consciousness gets blinked out for a second. We're blinking out of consciousness. And that might be destabilizing or disruptive in some primary way. Now, everybody's chart has a solar story, so it's not the same for everybody. The natural significations of the sun are pretty clear here, and we've got to explicate them to try to process and understand this eclipse moment. Normally the sun in Aries is about fiery energy. Look around me, look at the beautiful spring moment here in the Northern Hemisphere and how this brings people out into their lives. This allows for more time during the day, but more people are out. This is the solar. You have more energy and fire and warmth and heat and passion to go out into the world and do the things that are meaningful to you. Again, the eclipse means that is brought into a problematization. It's problematized energy, and it might be problematized in ways that are disjointed or unexpected, really. That's what eclipses are, unexpected disjointedness around this solar energetic here right in spring 2024. Normally we think about this increased passion and energy. I think with an eclipse, we're looking at something like maybe the Primal Scream. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this type of therapy developed in the 1970s. John Lennon centered this Primal Scream therapy on his album, what is it called? Plastic Ono Band, on the song Mother. If you check out the song Mother, I think it fits quite exact with a solar eclipse because the moon is the mother and it blocks out that fire of self. And in that song, he's screaming, mother, and he just does this primal scream to let out these feelings that maybe are buried, but it's about a search for self. And that's ultimately the theme of an eclipse in Aries is who are we? Why are we here? Letting the faded inversions take us and rock us and sort of twist us around, so that ultimately when these eclipses are over, we're left with an eclipsed self, or a self that has been eclipsed but been brought through the act of being eclipsed and is now anew, refreshed and rediscovered. But this act of being eclipsed, this moment of the scream, the primal scream, I think could be a good metaphor. And so as an example of like when things get crazy during an eclipse, I'm talking about unexpected inversions. There's stories in the news. I don't know if you've seen this. CERN, the particle collider in Switzerland, they're turning that back on, and they're going to collide some particles right on the day of the eclipse. It really makes you wonder what kind of, to use that Amy Winehouse lyric, what kind of is this with turning on this particle collider, and you're going to be smashing atoms to try to during a time that's the most astrologically potent in terms of opening so-called energies or unleashing unexpected energetics. So that's a little bit strange that we have this particle colliding story as part of this moment. we come to the domicile lord of Aries. So there's certainly this whole solar story, ruling those 4 planets in Aries, but the domicile lord Mars. You know, a lot of astrologers only want to talk about a domicile lord. I don't. I like this whole sign rulership model. I like to branch out my rulership because that's textual from the ancient tradition, but let's go with Mars. And I think this primal scream idea is even more accurate when you have Mars ruling Aries and then awash in the unknown lost seas of the Piscean, and that's that rage of Mars. Why was I hurt and I'm gonna rage about it? Rage can be very generative. I mean, with that energy of anger, it often feels like a sea, an inner sea, an inner ferocity of emotion that we can unleash into our worlds, hopefully in a productive way. And that would be one thing I would definitely recommend for you, is healthy expressions of anger for you emotionally. And that can be things like, I watched a documentary at least recently, this guy had a baseball bat, and he had then this object that he just pummeled with that bat repeatedly to express rage and anger. This person was a therapist, so this is part of a therapeutic model to express rage physically. I see people often with punching bags and doing training to also exercise emotion. So this would be therapeutic martial activity where you're with your force, using and deploying that force as a therapeutic emotionally. That's Mars and Pisces, the seas of rage, the seas of anger. As this sun gets blocked, as the self gets blocked, as there's uncertainty or wild events that unfold, how might we process these rageful seas to, settle ourselves and to heal, really?